in a new TV series. He's going to be on The Tonight Show again. He's going to play Carnegie Hall. I'm talking about Brian Regan.
Brian Regan.
Hey, Brian.
What's up, man?
Hey, guys. How are you?
You had to just feel a few seconds ago really happy that you decided to join this show when I said, what's going on? Where's he playing?
The only thing missing was, and who is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine, man. I don't know myself sometimes.
Tell us about the new TV show.
It's, you've probably heard of the Farrelly brothers. They did Dumb and Dumber and Something About Mary.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Farrelly co-wrote a series called Loudermilk. It's on DirecTV's Audience Network. And I've got a tiny little role in it. So I'm happy to be part of it.
That's very cool.
Well, didn't he handpick you?
He handpicked me for a tiny little role. Yeah, he did. He saw me perform somewhere, and he had some nice things to say afterwards, said he was working on this thing, and asked if I wanted to be involved. And I don't do a lot of acting stuff, you know, so it was a nice opportunity for me to do something different.
Were you nervous?
Yeah. Yeah.
Comedian.
Yeah, it was. The first scene I shot was it's a funny show, but it's also very serious. It's about people trying to recover from substance abuse, and my character is one of these people who's recovering. And the first scene I shot is where I go to meet my daughter, who I haven't seen in years, and she works in a homeless shelter. And I swear, when I showed up that day, I couldn't figure out if we were in an actual homeless shelter or if it was like a set with actors playing homeless people. I couldn't tell the difference.
Right.
And there was food all set up on the side. This is my first day ever, like on a shoot, a TV shoot, and I didn't know if that was food for the actual homeless people who were there or if it was food for actors. So I was like, I was starving, but I didn't want to take food from somebody who deserved it more than me.
Comedian Brian Regan joining the show now, revealing to us that he steals from the homeless.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Brian, we're big comedy fans here, and we have a lot of comedians on the show. And over the years, we've gotten to know a lot of guys. And the thing is that keeps coming up is people will come up to them on the street and try and quote their bits, and they often get it wrong. I think that would be particularly hilarious in your situation because it's a lot of it is in your delivery and the way you present it. How awkward is that when people just come up to you and start shouting your act back to you?
It's very weird. And one time I had somebody shouting the wrong joke, like it wasn't even. I do this bit about saying "you too" at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So I'm in an elevator, and this guy goes, "Hey, you're the and you guy," and it's like I don't want to call him on it. I'm honored he even knows who I am. So I said, "Yeah, that's me," and he goes, "Yeah, I say and you at the wrong time myself," and I'm thinking that's not the bit, but so elevator door opens.
Yeah.
It was a hotel lobby. I'm walking through the lobby, and he thinks it'll be funny to yell what he thinks is my bit loud in front of everybody. So he keeps yelling, "And you! And you!"
Kind of
I'm thinking I'm the only guy who knows what he's talking about, and I don't know what he's talking about.
That's pretty awesome. Somebody just shouting the wrong joke.
The wrong joke.
Do you ever get credit for someone else's joke?
Yes. I had somebody come up to me and say their favorite joke of mine is my bouillon cube joke. And I have no such joke. I don't even know what bouillon cubes are. and I now I just say, "Oh, thank you." But at the time I wasn't wise enough to, so I said, "I don't have a bouillon cube joke." And the guy goes, "Yes, you do."
Oh,
okay.
Yes, you do, and it's my favorite joke of yours. So how do you debate somebody like that?
Then you went home, looked up bouillon cubes, and then furiously started writing bouillon. How do you say that? I can't even say it. Bouillon cube jokes.
Yeah, I wrote 1 hour of bouillon cube jokes.
There you go. It's surprising you said to us earlier that this is the first TV show that you've ever been a part of. Why is that? Were you trying to stay away from it, or is it just never happened?
No, I tried over the years. It's like, for a while that was like the thing. If you got to a certain point as a stand-up, you would hope that somebody would want to build a sitcom around you.
Uh-huh.
And I got to the point where producers would come up to me after the show, after a stand-up show, and go, "Hey, do do you know any good comedians that we could build a show around?
So it's one of those things where you'll have to like chase it and like audition and stuff. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I was never good at that. I'm never good at the audition thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys golf, but I use the analogy of, you know, what if to decide if you're a good golfer, they throw you in a golf cart and they drive you out to a fairway bunker, they throw a ball in the sand and they crush it down with their foot and they say, if you can put this within 5 feet of the pin, we'll give you, you know, we'll let you play on the tour.
Right.
Well, that's what it's like, you know, sometimes for me going into these acting auditions. You know, it's like I can do the acting part. The part I can't do is the schmooze part. It makes my skin crawl, you know, to walk into a room of producers and go, hey, how ya? And make fun of somebody's tie and, you know, and make fun of the other guy's hat. You know, it's like I'd rather not get the show if I have to go through this, you know.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I just had this conversation with my wife the other day. I was talking about Ethan and I. We get into these situations where maybe him and I will be with like another coworker, and maybe that coworker, who's probably a salesman, will be overly complimentary of somebody with us there, and then I feel the need to say something, and it's usually the wrong thing.
It's always the wrong thing.
It's like, yes, I love it too.
I concur.
Now, you're going to be on with Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. Now, are you going to be doing some stand-up, or are you just going to sit and, you know, shoot the breeze with him?
No, I'm doing stand-up, and then I go over and sit down next to him and chat for a couple of minutes. But when I do those kinds of shows, I'm usually always doing stand-up, you know, and so I've been working on a set, and hopefully it'll get a couple of laughs.
Sweet. Hey, you know what? Suggestion maybe for Fallon. You bring out a homeless guy holding a grilled cheese sandwich and you just snatch it from him.
Grab it out of his hand right before he takes a bite of it.
Well, I don't know if people know this, but Brian Regan is, I mean, you're on a pretty heavy scheduled tour here. And the closest to us here in Connecticut is Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall.
Very cool. Very
on
cool.
November 11th.
I think I'm at the Carnegie Deli. There's a misprint on your thing there.
Brian Regan.
It's part of the New York Comedy Festival, and you know, that's one of the fun things about doing this is to occasionally be able to play some place like that where you go, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's very awesome. Hey, Brian, best of luck with the television show, and really thank you for a few minutes of your time. We appreciate it. We're big fans.
Of course, man. Thank you guys for having me on, man.
All right,
always appreciate it.
Take care. Brian Regan.
I made Brian Regan laugh, like, by my count, almost 3.5 times.
And one time, hilariously.
That'll get me through the day.
What's wrong with this guy, though? He's nice, he's humble, and he's brilliant.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
Very cool. I'm going to actually make a blog out of that, so if you only caught part of the interview, the whole thing will be at i95rock.com today.
All right. Ethan and Lou here. It's 8:26. Name droppings coming up in about 20 minutes.